Yeah.
In fact, I must remember to message Jorge over that, because we could do with getting some PR in some of the big publications in the States.
Right. So we should be, touch wood, live now. Yeah, I think so. If somebody wants to just check, I'm sure it's right, but it's always good to make sure if somebody wants to just check and put it in the chat. Yeah, very productive couple of days, Andy.
Yeah, definitely. And we've got another couple of big days coming up as well, which is really good.
So how much of what we found out today are we telling people today right now, and how much are we saving for Thursday?
We have to save for Thursday until we've got that sign off on that PR, Simon. Unless you hear from a certain person that says we can say it, because I know he's messaging you now.
Yeah, but I can't switch over to his Discord because that will show his Discord. That will show his Discord live on our AMA, and that wouldn't be particularly
would it?
Wouldn't be fair, would it? No, but I think people have seen that the Meta Landlords is kicking off. If people aren't aware, we are launching a sister project which is going to support Joke. So the Meta Landlords will buy land in various Infiniverses. I have had some people say to me, well, why is that different to any of the other projects? Because there are a couple of other ones out there that are buying land in metaverses, but those other projects don't have the support of the Wolf Den that we do, and the Guardian and Knight ecosystem, which is absolutely amazing. Because now that I've got close, well, now that I'm in the Guardian tier with the Wolf Den, I'd love to be in the Dire Wolf tier, but can't quite afford one BTC to go into there. But now that we're in there and we're getting incubated, it's going to support both projects. So landlords will provide land for Joke. Joke will be a tenant of landlords, and the people that hold the Jungle Cats will benefit in that they will receive part of the income that comes out of the revenue from those clubs in other locations. So when we're moving into buying land in some of the other metaverses, my own personal opinion is some of these other metaverses are overpriced and may not stand the test of time. So, if you're talking about things like Decentraland or Sandbox, NFT World, some of the bigger, or what would be classed as the bigger properties out there at the moment, I think the actual opportunity lays within the newer projects that are coming to fruition now, in that their tech is better, the price of land is obviously far less, and they're built on other chains. So, if you take, for example, Clay Nation, built on Cardano, and some of the other, like Pavia and Everdome and all these others that are coming, securing land within those properties to run our events on is going to be really important. And we're not going to be able to do that from a marketing budget that, we don't want to sell Joke token to raise money to buy land, when a sister project can do that and obviously stand on its own 2 feet and help us develop our universe, but also pull income from other projects as well, as they want to get launched onto metaverses. I've been speaking to loads of people. I was speaking to somebody this morning who wants to get his project launched into the metaverse, and obviously that's a prime candidate for having space in land that we own as a project. So
I think it's also fair to say, Simon, as well, the team behind who's working on it along, not just, with the Wolf Den guys and all that, but the rest of the team are really, really good on this project as well. So across all the teams, it is really, really, really strong. And I think also with the news that we'll announce on Thursday, which is massive, I think people will clearly start to see that we are making waves, getting seen, got the support of some really, really good people out there and some good organisations, which I think is great for this project and all of the projects that link together, because there's a real strength in numbers there.
Well, and somebody asked a question the other day And it was quite a good question at the time because I didn't actually know the answer to it, and I do now. But somebody asked the question, how are you going to provide penthouses in the Infiniverse to the lucky few? Because not everyone's going to get a penthouse, obviously. Somebody did say to me earlier on a ticket, does that mean we're all getting penthouses? Well, I laughed and said, unfortunately, no, I wish we could all get penthouses, but it will be completely random. Even myself, I don't know whether I would get a penthouse. I won't. I will be in the same lottery as everybody else. Yes, everyone will get codes which will be issued in the form of URLs. So when you're given your code, it will be a URL. You will then go to that URL and it will ask you, do you want to attach this apartment to your Multiverse Online account? Hence why we are asking people to make sure they have got a multiverseonline.io account ready. It doesn't mean you have to have an Oculus, but you will have to have that account, and it's a completely randomly assigned URL. Even I will not know, and I don't even think the devs at Infiniverse will know. I suppose they could if they really wanted to, but they're just going to issue a bunch of codes, and when you click on that URL, it's going to ask you, do you want to attach this apartment to your Multiverse Online account? You will get one opportunity to do that, and if you attach it to the wrong account, you will not be able to move it to another account until such time as in-game they provide the ability to transfer apartments from one account to another. And there's no timeline written on that, so I'm presuming most of us, 99.9% of us, will only have one Multiverse Online account, so there shouldn't be any issues there. But be wary if you've got two people in your household using Multiverse Online, which is probably quite unlikely, but maybe your kids have got an account or whatever. If you go and attach it to the wrong account, that's where it's going to live. If it was attached to my kids' account, it wouldn't be a problem because they won't get their pocket money until I get my apartment. But anyway, but the exciting news is, part of the exciting news, we can't announce exactly what's going to happen until Thursday because there will be an official announcement from Future Tech about it. So I can't preempt that, because if I made the announcement right now, let's put it this way, if I could guarantee that everybody in this room would say nothing, I would tell you. But unfortunately, I cannot guarantee that somebody in here wouldn't go and post it on the Infiniverse or Multiverse Facebook and upset an awful lot of people very quickly, because when people see what's about to happen, and this is a hint, pay attention, when people see what's about to happen in the Infiniverse for our project, well, even the lead dev at the Infiniverse said, hang on a minute, why aren't we getting that first? So we are first. We were the first into the Infiniverse as a business. We were the first to buy a business in Grand Central, and we were the first to have multiple storefronts in the Infiniverse. And now we're going to set another first, which is going to be an even bigger first. So yes, it's going to create a massive amount of FOMO for people in the Infiniverse, not just us. It's a better deal than we could have ever imagined, because San Shepard came to me and Andy this morning and said, I've got an idea and I'm wondering if you'll like it. We sort of said, we were trying not to grin too much on the Zoom call. So look, it's very good for them because they're using it as a piece of PR as well. And it's a collaborative effort between us and them, and they've geared this up around the 19th of May, knowing that they're giving our apartments out, and it's going to attract a lot of people to come and see what the Joke Project is, a lot more than we could have ever imagined, because of before, up until this morning, and I'll be completely honest on this, we thought we were going to launch all of the apartments in the area of Popsicle Drive. So if you know where that is on the map, all of our joke community were going to be launched into that area, and we have a much, much more exciting and bigger opportunity now, which we have grasped with both hands, and we'll be taking. We're going to get a lot of publicity out of it, and while I was on this call, I've had a message from Sans saying, what sort of publicity and PR do you want, and can we advertise the event on Oculus? So this brings us to a point where we will be the most famous project in that metaverse. There's an argument to say we're quite well known in it already. We're about to be known by absolutely everyone in it, and outside of it, I would hope as well. And we'll get some decent, proper PR, in online publications to go with it. So, look, we know the 19th is going to be a really big day for us all. It's going to be a lot bigger now than since what we found out this morning. But we won't be making that announcement till Thursday, because I want Sans Shepherd to make the announcement for us, and that will be done in a form of a Zoom call with me and him and Andy, and we're going to record it, because I don't want anyone in here going, well, yeah, are you sure? Is that actually going to happen? Because we're not. Somebody will call us out and say, well, I'm sure that can't happen. And as soon as San announces it, and we have a video to announce that, we'll put that. We'll release that information on Thursday during the AMA. So what we'll do is we'll have a pre-prepared PR piece plus all the social content to go around it. It's going to cause some shit in the Infiniverse, that's for sure. We'll see what everybody else thinks, but effectively we will have our own joke metaverse. I think it's fair to say, Andy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Antoine's asking,
what does Antoine want to know? Whether there's going to be a Wendy's there? I can't hear Antoine. Do you know why that is? Do you know why that is? Because I've personally muted Antoine. Like, he's only muted for me.
Okay. Well, Andy, you can hear me, Andy. I said everything y'all said gonna happen. So we're gonna believe what y'all say. I will. That's what I'm saying.
Well, I hope you.
Did y'all hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I said y'all always tell the truth, so I don't believe nobody's gonna believe when you say something that's gonna be. Yeah, I think it's gonna be good.
Look, no, I'm partially joking when people will believe us, because I can honestly say I don't think we've ever told a lie in this project, not intentionally anyway. So yeah, I could announce it now. It could jeopardise if I said it out loud and people started going into the Multiverse Online community and started talking about it before it's officially announced. It could jeopardise what we're going to get. So that's the main.
I think the power of it is coming from Sam as well.
Yeah.
I think that makes it really powerful. Yeah.
But Sam's excited. Chris, the main dev, is excited, although he's got some challenges to deal with. His main challenge is going to be, how do the apartments spawn? So he's currently struggling with, do the apartments spawn like one a minute, or do they appear the day before as all of, like the whole lot appear in one go? Because what he's actually worried about is so many people going in to see what's happening, it crashes the Infiniverse. Because if it's having to re-render itself all the time to bring in a new apartment, bring another apartment in, then you end up with, if you've got 1,000 people in that area trying to observe what's going on, then it causes massive amounts of server. Well, I don't know what. I'm not technical enough to explain what it is, but because the frame rate won't keep up with it, it could conceivably crash the Infiniverse, which we don't nobody wants to happen, but he's trying to work out exactly how that works now. The good thing is that he has absolutely confirmed to us that it is the 19th of May. So we're less than a month away now. I'm going to reiterate clearly to people, you have to open a ticket. You have to be a verified holder, and you have to put your wallet addresses into that ticket, and you have to have a multiverseonline.io account. Okay? I don't have to have the multiverseonline.io account from you. The reason I'm asking for it is to prove that you've set one up, because what I don't want is on the day people going, what do I do with this code? It says I need a Multiverse Online account, right? We've all got plenty of time, plenty of notice. The great thing is, over the last week, everyone seems to be getting it done, and there's plenty of verified tickets getting opened. I am still getting people getting annoyed, like, because they're saying I haven't had a reply to my ticket. I won't be replying to the tickets until we've got the majority of them in, because there's nothing for me to say at the moment. If people know what's happening, you trust us that we are going to issue you the codes for your apartments. I haven't got those codes yet, and I probably won't have the codes until a couple of days before the drop. So until such time as we have the codes, we're just going to leave the tickets sat there, because I don't want to start creating a conversation with somebody saying, somebody saying, well, where's my codes? Or how do I get them? How do I get an apartment? Well, you will get the apartment. All you need to do is follow those rules before the 12th of May. Okay? So we've got, 15, 20, well, we've got 20 days till that. There's plenty of time, 3 weeks for people to get a ticket open, get your wallet verified. I'm not getting many people saying that they're struggling, which is great. If anyone is particularly struggling, I'm sure the community will help you. Is there anyone else? Anyone wants to ask a question while we're here? I thought I spotted somebody with a hand up.
Yeah, Hill Char did put his hand up, Simon, a while ago.
Yeah, quick question. Although we may not be getting a penthouse, the other apartments will get the upgraded interior. Is that correct?
Absolutely, 100%. Yeah. So everybody who is a Jungle Cat holder gets a bespoke joke branded. Even Andy sent the logo across this morning for the joke carpet, didn't you, Andy?
I did, and I did joke. Have they done joke toilet roll? I think Chris is going to work on it.
Joke toilet roll. I think that was a joke.
I bought a couple of apartments already, and they're very minimally furnished. What you're giving us is incredibly beautiful, beautiful apartments, just so people understand the difference. Yeah. Just wanted to let everybody know that.
Cheers, thank you.
Yeah, and he is... Oh, I nearly gave something away there that I shouldn't do. He's working on some extra features that will be unique to our piece of the Infiniverse. Let's put it that way. But yeah, for randomly enough, you're getting a cannon on your balcony. I don't understand that quite, but you've got.
Is there any possibility that they can some blank picture frames where we can use our NFTs to hang in our apartments?
I can ask the question.
Thank you.
Yeah, certainly.
I think you'll be able to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure. But what we'd like is, that's definitely something. Would be nice if we can have your own Jungle Cat on the wall. But before anybody asks, if you've got 10, I'm not putting 10 picture frames up. You can choose your favourite. Yeah, we're working on other bits within there. There is more dev to happen because every time we change it, it costs more, obviously, because there's dev time going into it. So, and you're right, these will look substantially different to anything else that is in the Infiniverse. We all hope that they turn into NFTs, which, well, I think personally, and again, not financial advice or to be relied upon. I do personally believe from the conversations that I've had with San and Chris that eventually the entirety of that universe will turn into NFTs. The game itself never will, but at the end of the day, the game itself is only the window into it, if you see what I mean. So if something can be connected to a blockchain wallet, which you have seen Dippy Nicky posting about within the Multiverse Online channel on Facebook, they are working on that, and I think they know they have to do that because essentially that's why over 400,000 people came into the Infiniverse and spent fiat on buying apartments. None of us came in there just to buy an apartment, to own it, to do nothing with it. People have gone in there and bought, well, I know some people who've bought hundreds. And some of them are on this call. But there's and that apparently that makes you like there's some people that have got thousands in there, but all of those people went in and bought them as if it was an NFT drop, and although it's not NFTable, or it's not able to be listed on a separate marketplace or cashed in at the moment, you can cash it in for Metacoin, but obviously Metacoin is not a crypto and can't be cashed back to fiat. It can be exchanged for other properties in the game. I do know that our apartments will be substantially more valuable than the standard apartments in the game for a certain. But that said, we all want them to be turned into an NFT eventually, because with the greatest respect to the Jungle Cats, this will be another NFT that is potentially massively valuable in its own right, and we all know that. That's not so hidden agenda, that we all sat here going, well, if I get one of these NFTs, if I buy a Jungle Cat, I'm gonna get a bespoke apartment that could be worth who knows what, because within the Infiniverse, our rarity, we are the rarest of the rare. We are 1,650 pieces of 400 and something thousand, and as the Infiniverse grows and grows and grows, we become rarer and rarer and rarer. So you pretty much have the rarest, well, I can't say it's an NFT, but you have the rarest apartment in the game. And when things happen with the Infiniverse that I know are already happening that I'm not allowed to talk about next year, and that is a way away, but next year there's something coming to the Infiniverse that will get everybody going crazy. You can make your own assumptions as to what that is or could be, but I'm not allowed to speak publicly about what it is. I can hint that there's something massive coming, but equally everybody can just go, well, yeah, you're just saying that, Simon, but genuinely there's something that we as a project are a part of that San is building. And you have to look at, well, I'm on Strategic Profits talking about the metaverse, how the metaverse is going to develop, what the metaverse is, and if you look at all of the way these projects are springing up, and this is part of why we're looking at doing the landlords as well, because looking at that landscape, going back to when the web launched, and this is when obviously Web3 and how true Web3 is going to work, a lot of these metaverses that exist now, be that Decentraland, NFT World, Sandbox, Pavia, whatever you want to name, every single one of them, there's hundreds of them springing up. The tech that builds that, because Rich Sheffram was talking to me about, for example, Second Life. You go back to 2006, 2007 and look at people paying tens of thousands of dollars to buy storefronts in that platform, but the tech wasn't there then. Like, Oculus headsets didn't exist back then, and the tech is still really basic now, and somebody may well imagine somebody watching this AMA in 10 years time and going, what were these guys on about? Like one of those clunky Oculus headsets, like probably have to wear a pair of contact lenses to get in 10 years time. But the whole space now is at a point where the tech works. it's now going to cross over into, over the next couple of years, the majority of the world being able to get access. And when people say we are super early, we are super early. We are the tip of the tip, right? Literally, we were the first business in. We will be the first business to drive revenue. We will be the first business to have something we're going to announce on Thursday. It's right at the stage where, look, it's not going to be overnight massive success, because we are driving the value up in the token, and the point of the token being that you will need joke token to pay for events. But nobody's going to kid themselves that we'll be charging for events within the next 6 weeks. Like I was explaining to somebody else today who wants to come into the project, and he said to me, well, that's great. What if I want to run my comedy club in the Infiniverse? When am I going to get revenue? And I said, well, okay, we can show you that we've had tens of thousands of people into our events. The issue comes is if we are running an event and we get 20,000 people in it this week, that's free. And you guys as Jungle Cat holders get in for free. But the minute we turn around and say, right, it's $10 to attend a comedy event, my assumption would be we go from 20,000 people down to 200 people, if we're lucky, because people aren't ready to pay. They're not necessarily getting the right level of comedian, and that's no disrespect to the comedians that we're showing so far. But if you combine the fact that it's new, it's a different experience, and people can currently get it for free, and they can. Why would they pay just yet? But at the point of which we start running a lot more events with bigger clubs, and we bring brands into our space in the Infiniverse, and for example, one of the biggest comedy clubs on earth runs their own club under the Joke brand, co-branded, in the Infiniverse with a weekly show from world class of comedians, then you get to the point where people will pay. But judging what that payment amount is to get the right number of people to come through, to make it worthwhile to us, to make it worthwhile to the token, to make it worthwhile to the club and to the comedian, that's a juggling act that we haven't done yet. And from what we do with, clients on YouTube, it's easy to see that if you took a 1% rule, i.e. 20,000 people come for free, 200 people pay, it could be less than that, it could be more than that. But if the ticket price was $2 or whatever it is, 2,000 Metacoins, how many do we get coming through? If it's $10, do we get 1% of that coming through, because you've just put the price up so high that $10 isn't a lot, but in a virtual world where nobody's charging anything yet, who knows what that ticket price can be. So
I think it depends on the comedians, the level that they're at. I think there'll be different structures. I think that's something that we have discussed and we have looked at. But again, San has said to us, imagine the scenario in 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, where there's millions of people coming into the Infiniverse. And as we've shared already with the group, and it's in the new white paper, Citigroup have said in 8 years' time, it could be before, between 8 and 13 trillion, with 5 billion daily users. Now, if there's different tiers of levels of access, even if it is only the 1%, but 1% of a million people or a billion people is a lot of people. So the room for the growth for the project is there, and that's our aim. We bring more people in. We just don't know what those numbers are at this point, but it's something that we are working on. We are looking at different opportunities, but it will take a little bit of time.
Someone just posted a question and it popped up, but I missed it. Perhaps you can find it, Andy. Is it? It's probably because I don't want to switch off from this screen, because otherwise I lose this part of the AMA.
Yeah.
But if you've got questions and you want to type them in the general chat, I presume that's where it's gone, or holders chat, or you can put your hand up and come on stage.
Quick question. Is there any way that you can ask your contact if they would be willing to sell us some storefronts for the people that are holding the cats?
I'll give you the answer. They will absolutely sell you storefronts. Yes. Was the question more guided towards can we have a discount?
Yes.
I can ask the question. You might want to wait until Thursday because
Okay.
there will be what's
Announcement.
what's happening on Thursday will affect what you've
Yeah.
just said, and there will be storefronts available.
Awesome.
Yeah, not to the Jungle Cat holders, but there's an opportunity to purchase storefronts in the area where we will be. So I know that a lot of people, obviously, the sort of holy grail is to own the storefront and the penthouse within the same building, which is what a lot of people like to do. But that opportunity doesn't exist until Thursday. But we'll see. Yeah, look, we will have a number of penthouses that will be in the giveaway, because I know some people were concerned that we'd shown images of the penthouse and then they know for a fact that most of the areas, or all the areas in the Infiniverse, all of the penthouses have been snapped up. So in knowing that, San has already said openly penthouses will have different utility, and they do look substantially different, because if you go into the penthouse image that we've already shared, you can see that the skylights, it's all open ceiling. You get a better view. Depends on, I suppose, how high the building is that you've got. But if you get a penthouse where we're going to be, without giving too many hints away, some people may be able to work out what I'm talking about. I will not confirm or deny anything if anybody does ask directly. But within the area we're in, the buildings will grow, because they won't be massively big to start with. Anyone else got a question who's on here? Because I know we've got a fair few on today, and a fair few people that aren't normally on the AMAs. So if you do want to speak up, press the hand button at the middle in the bottom, and you can come on stage and we'll let you speak. Either that, or if you don't want to talk, please type your question into the general chat, and one of the guys on here will hopefully read it out to me.
Simon, this is Colleen, Jane Jetson. You probably didn't get my message, but I created a channel. You had mentioned last week about having a channel specifically for the AMAs to ask questions. So there is a new channel just above the Joke AMA Sessions link that is AMA Live Chat.
Oh, cool.
To try to keep the general chat, from kind of having to filter through all of those. So there is one question in there from MA. She says something about, what about turning an existing owned penthouse into a Joke apartment? I'm not sure whether that's a question about being able to apply the same bespokeness to it, purchasing that or not.
Yeah, that's a definite no. If you own an apartment or a property already in the Infiniverse, you can't apply a Joke template to it. So the ones that get dropped to us, they're unique, and there will never be any more. So that's part of the attraction and benefit to having one of the Joke apartments, is there just aren't going to be any more minted or available or able to be copied. So hopefully that will drive a lot of. Well, I know the price is going to be substantially higher than standard apartments. Even if you're, I know we'll all be sat here going, oh, I want to get in a penthouse, and there will be a lucky few, and I don't know what the few number is yet, because until the devs finish constructing what they're doing, they don't even know the number yet. But we will know, for example, there are, and I'm guessing, don't hold me to this because this is a completely made up number off the top of my head. Let's say there were 30 penthouses that we got. They will just be mixed in with the 1,650 that are getting issued, and it's completely random who gets them. So somebody might get more than one. I don't know. We're not in control of that process, so they will just shuffle the pack, and out come a bunch of URLs which we will issue to people. So there's no rush, actually. There is no rush for anybody to go and redeem on the day, because what you're getting will already be assigned to you, if you see what I mean. So you're not going to have to run into the Infiniverse and go and grab, if you're the first person in there, because you've got a code, it won't mean that you can go and get a penthouse. So that you will randomly get assigned, like you do when you get an NFT. The rarity of yours will be assigned at the point of the URL being generated for you. So obviously there'll be a whole bunch of people that don't have Oculus headsets, and they will create a Multiverse Online.io account, and they will click on the URL that they're given in their ticket, and it will say, do you want to assign it to your Multiverse account? And you go yes, and then that's it. Now, unless you then go and get a headset and walk into the Infiniverse, you're probably not even going to know where that apartment is until such time as you do get a headset, or somebody else can go in and say, oh yeah, Colleen, I've seen your face on the building, and oh, you've got a penthouse. Maybe some people will do that, but they will all initially be issued with the joke logo on them, so that, well, we get as much publicity as we can within the Infiniverse, because there's going to be a load of people coming along to see what's going on. But obviously after such time, after you've been issued it, you can then change what's on the front of your apartment to you. You can go into your apartment and customize it, and you can do that without having an Oculus. It's just you won't be able to physically walk around in the apartment without an Oculus or other headsets as they build in the compatibility. Anybody else has any more questions?
Can't see any, Simon.
No.
So there is a little bit of clarification to the question. Wondering if somebody who already owns an apartment, if they wanted their joke apartment to replace what they have at that existing purchased location, is that possible?
Again, I don't think so. I can't answer that 100%, but I don't think you can move. Well, you definitely can't at the moment. It's not to say that they won't build that in the future. I don't think it's high up on the dev list, because obviously the guys are building the Infiniverse step by step. Like, one of the things we asked for today was a stadium. We want a stadium to be able to perform, have tens of thousands of people in eventually, and they do apparently get asked a lot for that by several other projects in the Infiniverse already are asking for stadiums. So whether we end up with like one great big stadium and we as a project have to book time to go in it, and we would absolutely do that if that was available. We might have to pay to book time to go into a stadium, and we could probably do that. And that's probably the way they'll go down. But I would imagine, to answer the question, the devs at the Infiniverse are going to build something like a stadium way before they're going to give the opportunity for people to swap apartments around, because as it stands, 99% of the Infiniverse is identical, and they could probably build it in as a function. I'm guessing that takes several days or a day's or two's worth of dev, which would cost us, if we said, right, we want it and we want to book it, it would cost us thousands of dollars to just have that one function built specifically for us. But it's not to say that they won't create a removal service if that's what people want, but the demand for it is going to be so low that it would be the individual projects that would have to probably pay for it to be devved. That's the honest answer. So sorry, but probably a no for now. Andy, have you got anything else you want to add?
No, I was just looking into where Jane was looking into that question. No, there's a few more shows being booked in. Just update on comedians. We've got 3 more nifty shows booked in. We've got another big US comedian booked in. Well, I need to book him in, should I say, with some other shows of his. We've also got a meeting tomorrow night with one of the other big comedians in the US, planning out being there. That's been booked in, Simon. We're just waiting on a couple of contracts to be signed.
And Andy, I'm just waiting on Cedric. He may have tech with his computer. He has like 2 hours of footage, but he can't. I don't know why he can't send it to me. But I'm gonna try to have a Zoom with y'all this week with him, so we can talk about what Simon talked about with the comedians when they first come in. So he said he wanted to do that, but I'm gonna get on top of that for you.
Okay, cool. We did have a meeting with Antoine and one of his other connections last week with an absolutely massive opportunity for a US statewide comedy event, which is really cool. So we're planning on that. So yeah, there's loads of stuff going on in the background there.
Jay Reed's on board, isn't he?
Quite a big options because organising all that with comedians, some of the bigger ones we're having to, have contractual agreements in place with their agent and all kinds of things. So it is taking time, but there is a real appetite to be part of it by comedians and clubs. So yeah, it's all really positive. So there'll be plenty more booked in over the coming days.
Yeah, Jay Reed is on board. He's booking a show. He's the warm-up guy for Bill Bellamy, if anybody knows Bill.
He's funny. He's really funny.
Yeah, so Jay's good as well. Jamar's on board now. I've got a meeting with him tomorrow. Andy and I are meeting with Jamar. Dom Jolly's on board. His legal team are checking the documents. But he's massive in the UK. If you don't know him, Dom Jolly, look him up. One of the other things we were speaking to the devs at the Infiniverse about is the ability to have people on stage live. So, but as I don't know whether, well, let me explain it, because as it stands in the Infiniverse, it's a maximum of 12 people within your localized vicinity. So that's your shard. Within a shard, if you've got 12 people around you, you can only hear. It's like in real life. If you're stood in a group of 10 or 12 people, if a couple of them are speaking, you can't pay attention to any more than that, really. And if you were in a group of 12 people, obviously some of those people are further away from you than those that are, right next to you and you're probably talking to. So within your shard, these are the limitations that obviously if someone's facing you, they are louder, right? Because they're probably talking directly to you from a technical perspective. But once we get into running a live show with a comedian stood on a stage, we have lots more considerations to deal with, because if we've got 1,000 people in a show, well, let's make the maths easy. Let's say 1,200 people in a show, i.e. 100 shards of 12 people. We need to have that comedian in every shard. But you then reach a problem where if you've got 1,200 people live, how much can the comedian hear? So obviously if you're in a comedy club, the comedian has got the mic in their hand, right? So you need to broadcast the voice of the comedian at a much higher level than everybody else. But one of the technical challenges is going to be how much noise do we allow to come through from the people in the entire audience. So going back to the stadium scenario, if you had 10,000 people in a stadium, obviously somebody on stage cannot hear somebody talking in the back row. They probably can't hear somebody sat in the front row talking, but if somebody starts heckling, they can. So the first challenge we've got to overcome is, can we get somebody on a stage able to present to the entirety of all of our shards? Answer is yes, but the technical restraint at the moment is how do we control, one, the laughter, and two, the idiots? because there will be people wanting to run on the stage, people shouting, people not paying attention, people chatting in the back. And Andy and I know that to our own detriment at the moment because we got chucked out of our own club on the opening night. But that's a whole other thing. But it was piss funny actually. But anyway, if you weren't there, you didn't see it. But the point being is what we need to move to now is being able to give a live interactive environment for a comedian stood on the stage, cut out all the idiots, but also allow some level of audience interaction. It may well be that is with 2 or 3 main shards, if you see what I mean. So you could have a trusted audience shard or 2 or 3. Maybe that's Jungle Cat holders that we know people who are going to behave themselves and act responsibly, because we can't have a scenario where we have to have moderators stood in every single shard muting people who are being idiots, because people will just come and do it on purpose. Imagine, anyway, I hate to think what could happen, but we also need the ability for people to hand the mic off to other people, but all of this is in dev and is all being discussed with the team at the Infiniverse and as we move into other metaverses. So we're looking to have another show or a show next on Alt Spaces, which I know 3K will love to attend. We're building the bar out, the merch, the microphone on the stage, but again that only allows up to about 50 people at a time, and it still doesn't work perfectly as far as I can see. I've been to a couple of other shows and it's still quite difficult for the comedian, but all of these things, look, if you see something on another platform, you see it in another metaverse, help us, talk to us, tell us something you've seen, because this is the way the project will develop and how we'll make it better for all of us as we go forward. But look forward to Thursday, because we're very lucky to have what we're about to get, and has already been promised. It's not a pie in the sky, is not something that we're making up. I just can't announce it yet because it has to be announced by the CEO of Future Tech, and that'll mean it'll go on Oculus, it'll go throughout the entire Infiniverse. If those of you that don't know, there's actually over 1,000 storefronts already open in the Infiniverse, which is incredible. Try looking at any of the other metaverses out there and see if any of them are doing anything like that. So we've definitely pinned our flag on one of the right horses. We will be looking to go and get as many of the others as we can. If you do want to be in on the launch for the Meta Landlords, you do need to join that Telegram group. So it is shared in the official links. I think somebody will post it if it isn't, but go and join that. It's not going to be launching for, it's probably 2 to 4 weeks away, and we'd like as many of our community to take part. And please do share it, tell other people about it. As also, please do tell people about the joke token, because it's going to explode over the next 4 to 6 weeks as all these things come to fruition. I'm going to wind this up now, unless anybody else wants to put their hand up and ask, because I have my dinner to go to. Here in the UK, it's coming up for 6 p.m. No, I can't see any hands. So if we wind this one up, as always, any questions, DM me or Andy or another one of the admins. Be careful. There are a lot of scams going on out there. Do not connect your wallet to anything that is not in the official links. Okay? Don't respond to any DMs that come from an admin, or pretend like, if you think you're being scammed, you probably are. If there's a 1% doubt in your mind, should I connect my wallet to this? Do not, right? Ask, DM me or Andy or another admin on this project and say, is this a link to do with your project? Because the 2 minutes that it takes you to do that could save you your entire crypto holdings, right? And we have seen this project get damaged by people connecting their wallet to an incorrect address, right, and having their joke tokens stolen, and millions of tokens getting sold out of people's wallets. There are scammers genuinely targeting this project now. All right, so watch out, ask the right questions, take your time. Be careful what you do, okay? And remember, none of the admins will DM you ever first, okay? If they do, it's a scammer. Because people can quite easily take my profile picture, set up a profile that says OG Joke with a, an A or an extra E or whatever, and pretend to be me. And that is actively happening. So be really careful. I can smell me.
Simon.
Yeah, go
on. One question from the chat was, what's the current best way to support the project? Asking buy and farm joke tokens. Should we buy Meta Landlord tokens too, which I know we can't yet? Is there a pre-sale date? I know the answer to that is we'll find out at the AMA on Thursday. But I think you had mentioned that you were going to share some pre-canned messages for us to share on social media.
Yeah, we're definitely going to start doing that this week. Apologies, it was really busy last week, so we're going to do a pre-made marketing resource for everybody. And the absolute best way to support the project is 1, get involved in the chat. 2, tell people about the project and say that you're involved and you like it, and that obviously they should do their own research. And come along and listen to us on a weekly basis. I was glad I saw somebody say that. Somebody said they've never seen a project that the founders turn up twice a week and do AMAs, probably because those other projects realise that there's not always announcements that you can make every week, but we've made the commitment that we will come and talk to you a couple of times a week and give you the opportunity to ask the questions, because I just prefer talking to people rather than necessarily typing it into a window. I think if people can hear your voice, then they can tell whether you're genuine or not. But yes, attend. There is a landlord's AMA on Thursday. The time is potentially 7 p.m. UK. It may well change depending on what the US guys say. But Thursday, 7 p.m, so 2 hours after the AMA that we do on Joke. I am not the lead on that project. I nearly doxed him then. Flipping heck. He will be doxing himself on Thursday, so there isn't an issue, but I'm not going to pre-dox him. But the guy who's leading that project is very well known in the crypto world in the US. He is at the level where he is advisor to people internationally for major brands in crypto and offline in real life. So I look forward to meeting him on Thursday. He's a good friend of ours and somebody we know from Houston. Best way to support the project is share. Just comment. Like when we're posting, retweet it. When if you get a chance, just comment on some of the stuff we put on Facebook. Go on to our YouTube and share this video or like it, or just hit the notifications. Just do anything you can to just get involved, and anything is appreciated, really is. So I think unless there's any more questions, Jane.
No more questions, thanks.
No, cool. Okay, so I think what we're gonna start doing is organising the tickets into a spreadsheet, which I will produce and give to the admins, and then that spreadsheet. We're not going to obviously let anyone see that because other people would be able to see other people's wallet addresses. But between the admin team, we're going to create the spreadsheet with everybody's wallet address and everybody's username. We will then go back through the tickets and tell people that they are on the sheet. And once you get a message that says you're on the sheet, that will mean you're in the queue, okay? And you will be allocated your codes for your apartments. But please don't hassle the team. We are on it. There's no rush. The rush will be the rush will be the 10th to the 12th of May when people realise they haven't done it. And then after that date, we can all relax and say, right, here's your codes. And then on the 19th, go get your apartments. And then we'll see who's lucky. Because it'll be really interesting to see who gets. Somebody else has put their hand up. Who's that?
Phil Char. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Do you have like a number out of the 3,500? How many have done everything that they're supposed to be? Are we at like 50%?
I don't know the answer. That's why we're going to create that spreadsheet over the next couple of 3 days. So we'll be able to give you an answer to that on Thursday.
Great.
Cool.
Looking forward. Thank you for all the information.
No problem.
Okay.
Like I say, right, let's wrap this one up. I don't want to waffle on too long. We're just coming to the end of an hour. And I know people moan that they don't have time to listen to an hour on YouTube. There is a button on YouTube that lets you play back the video at 1.5, 1.75 or 2x. And if you wish to, you can listen to it at half the time if you really want to do that. But I will sound like Mickey Mouse. So you can, if people really look, there's not a lot more. I think people are clear as to what they need to do at the moment. All right. But if there's anyone with confusion, open a ticket or ask the question in the general chat and people will get to sort it out for you. That's the top of the hour. Let's close this one down and we'll speak to you very soon and look forward to Thursday.
Yeah. Thanks, everybody.
See you soon.